Logan Sadler, and I am presenting about loneliness in Southwest Georgia and the use of third places. 36% of Americans have reported having serious loneliness, and this is due to a lack of third places. According to Finley et al., Americans may be losing access to key services, goods, and amenities in addition to community sites that help buffer against loneliness, stress, and alienation. Third places also provide space for socializing and developing connections. According to Murthy, the mortality impact of being socially disconnected is similar to that caused by smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, and even greater than associated with obesity and physical inactivity. So, because of those problems and loneliness, isolation, and the downfall of public third places, it is necessary to ask the question, in what ways should rural cities located in Southwest Georgia be mandated to make non-transactional third places in their commercial development areas to combat loneliness and the risk of deteriorating mental health for the public? And my thesis statement is, rural communities in Southwest Georgia should implement more third places because they increase social interactions, mental health, and development of cities in the area. So why Southwest Georgia? Well, Southwest Georgia is very low in population density, Albany being the highest population, which is around 65,500 as of 2026. And according to that graph down there, the red counties highlighted are counties that are decreasing in population year by year. Some may be decreasing by hundreds, some may be by thousands. And there are also limited events and gathering spaces to use as third places in Southwest Georgia, and economic barriers due to high poverty and affordability. So the definition of a third place is a generic designation for a great variety of public places that host the regular, voluntary, informal, and happily anticipated gatherings of individuals beyond the realms of home and work. Some of these examples of a third place mainly is a park, and some others are a library or a coffee shop. There are many benefits of third places. They can improve mental and physical health while also empowering cities toward economic and social prosperity. Murthy again states, being more socially connected can buffer against maladaptive stress responses and the negative health effects of stress. Third places can also greatly decrease stress and combat social isolation and loneliness, as well as improving health and well-being. There is a problem to these benefits though, and that is the accessibility. Nationwide, 100 million people, including 28 million children, do not have a park within a 10-minute walk of home. This may also lead to safety reasons as well, leading too far from home and parents not trusting their kids going somewhere different. More than 1 in 5, which is about 21% of people, live in areas with zero access to any open third places, and this is to communities with poverty or in the middle of nowhere in rural areas. And due to Southwest Georgia frequently having high poverty areas, there are sometimes no accessible areas for people in the community to interact with. So here's where I come up with my solution. One effective solution is to address loneliness in the Southwest Georgia area would be to develop more non-transactional third places and design them to encourage social interaction rather than commercial activity. And this would help the areas that may have poverty by giving them a feeling of not needing to spend any money every time they go out somewhere. This will also be possible through grants, sponsorship, and voluntary work, keeping these places open and frequently used by the public. While the solution may be effective, there are some limitations, and one of these is third places will need consistent funding from sponsors or the grants that help them stay open. Rural areas often have limited budgets, so maybe not be able to spend millions of dollars on open parks and high-tech equipment that the community may use. And spread out population of Southwest Georgia can limit the use, the frequent use of third places, and communities may not immediately start using them, and community engagement isn't guaranteed because the population is so spread out and there's not a consistent population around Southwest Georgia. And here is where people try and go to alternative solutions. One alternative solution is that people are resorting to mental health apps, social media, or online forums. Critically, as a reflection of the growing demand for mental health care, mental health apps have undoubtedly seen a rapid increase in their developments and adoption. That is by Coe et al. And also, there is a major problem to apps, and that is the social connection. Rockheim states that humans are hardwired for connection, and neuroscience suggests that we are neurologically wired to connect with others, and mirror neurons in our brain are stimulated whenever we're reacting with other people. While social media provides unprecedented opportunities for staying connected, it also raises significant concerns about its impact on social skills, those essential abilities that help us to communicate effectively, understand others, and form meaningful relationships. And with mental health apps, you may not be able to interact with a certain person. Some may use AI, and some also may have cyberbullying and distractions online in their apps. So some people can just get lost in the mental forums and services that may help people, and it's not person to person. As I said, we are hardwired for connection, so some people may just need a social connection with a person one-on-one, but online they can't get that, and that limits them because maybe they don't have a family and they just don't want to go out, but there are a ton of distractions and also cyberbullying on these mental health apps. So in conclusion, cities in rural Southwest Georgia should prioritize developing non-transactional third places, such as parks, community centers, and open gathering spaces for a variety of events that many people can attend and interact with. This conclusion is important because opportunities for social interaction in Southwest Georgia is usually limited to churches, schools, or transactional places like stores and malls. And malls in Southwest Georgia are usually not very populated and often closing down every year. An expansion is needed in these areas for people to come to them and travel throughout Southwest Georgia and experience a fun place where they can go and have community interaction with, even if they are in different areas, and make it an attraction for other people to enjoy. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Logan.
And then here's my work slide, just those two slides.
So a couple of questions to follow up. What evidence, as you were researching, what evidence did you gather that didn't end up being useful to you, and why did you choose to exclude some of what you did in your research?
So some evidence that I gathered that didn't seem too useful is I tried to gather evidence from therapists and one-on-one solutions, but I wanted to make it a community involvement and not just one-on-one. Like I tried to do that with the apps, and I saw maybe if it's online it won't work, and in person, one-on-one, just in a room isn't maybe the best option. You need to go out and experience nature and parks and other places, new people that you don't just like plan conversation with. So just connection and social interaction is really important, and I just think maybe one-on-one in some areas may not be the most effective way to like reduce isolation and social isolation.
Okay, and then finally, what level of certainty do you have about the conclusion that you came to or the solution that you offered? Let me say that again. Explain your level of certainty that you have about either your conclusion or the solution that you've offered. How certain are you that it is viable?
So as I was studying about loneliness, I got it from a nationwide perspective, but I tried to local it down to just rural Southwest Georgia because there wasn't many surveys or anything in Southwest Georgia, so I kind of localized it, and my conclusion based on other like articles I studied from and like the stimulus about how there's a ton of consistent information of loneliness in America and throughout the states, and also through my graph about how Southwest Georgia is fully red, people are leaving, there's no major attractions, and people are just not enjoying the area that they live in, and they're attracted to other places while we're not attracted at all in Southwest Georgia. So to my conclusion, just throughout consistent information about loneliness and the need for parks, as it said, 100 million people now have an access to park within 10 minutes from where they live, so that can kind of draw away people. Maybe they want to go on a walk, meet someone they haven't met in a while, and Southwest Georgia does not have a lot of like opportunities to do that other than like school, church, or even a workplace.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Logan. Good job.